Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I started the New Health Conversation, and I think that we certainly need one. The thing that makes us different and the things that makes us unique and why you may want to listen to this podcast is we don't give you any opinions. Opinions don't matter. They shouldn't matter. I see all these influences coming on person after person telling you the only way to lose weight is to lower calories. That's been completely debunked. We're going to show you the medical proof today from people like Harvard Medical School, like from the Journal of the American Medical Association, and many other studies that just say that counting calories is completely debunked, completely out of sorts with people. So we'll wait for a few more people to come on so that I don't have to repeat myself too many times, and we'll kind of go from there. Well, Emmy, welcome. So basically what we're going to be talking about are 7 new peer-reviewed studies where you can lose as much weight in a week as in 8 weeks of any diet. Are you interested in that at all? So if you're not, then I guess you did the right thing and you're not on here anymore. So hello, Sue. So Sue, right away, are you interested in losing weight? No, apparently not. Okay. Oh, no one can hear sound? Is that the problem? Well, I'm on here now, so this is the new health conversation, which I think we sorely need, and I would invite any of you to, oh, I see what the problem is. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now you should be able to hear the sound. You probably couldn't hear it before because I was totally turned off, and I'm not turned off now, so probably too loud for the viewers. Okay, let's turn the volume down a little bit then. Um, Headphones, are they working? Looks like they are. So if anybody's out there, hello, new full. Are you looking to lose weight? Because this is the right podcast. Ito, this is going to be medical proof that you can lose weight. Okay, well, you can lose as much weight in a week as in 8 weeks of any diet, if that's what you're interested in. So I don't know why people are scrolling through and this is the answer for weight loss. It's been proven now in 7 peer-reviewed human trial studies. So I'm hoping that some people will catch on to this because it's really, hello, Sandy Newton. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I'm a nutritional researcher. This is live. It's not recorded. And basically, we, not us, but other people have discovered a way to safely lose weight in a week that would take you 8 weeks on diets, take you a month on a diet to lose as much as in a year. How excited would you be if you could lose a whole dress size in the first 7 days with no exercise? This is not a good joke. I have the medical trials are here, and you can actually see them. You see that website, the New Health Conversation. You're welcome to go there at any point, and if you go there, we won't contact you. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down and you can actually sign up for a free personal consultation with one of our coaches. I'm always curious, are you looking to lose weight? I mean, that's what I always ask everybody, but that's not the main reason to do it because we have people that want to gain weight. The main reason to do it is to attack this medical syndrome that you and me and everybody in the world has called TDOS. Stands for toxicity, deficiency, overweight, and stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office of New Medical Condition. Basically, what it means is that we are drinking and breathing and eating chemicals. As they enter our body, the body takes the chemical and stuffs it in our fat cells. There's no way around it. That's what's going on. The average adult, you and me, would have 1,000 and 1,500 chemicals embedded in our fat cells. These studies prove through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis that this removes the chemicals from the body. As a matter of fact, that's the main reason to do it. Despite the fact that obviously everybody's really excited about losing weight, I get that. That's not a bad goal. But what if I told you that's the least important reason to do this? Because we now know that all the studies are saying things like, let me find it right here. Why losing weight isn't about cutting calories. They said amid all fad diets, calorie restriction continues to be a popular approach to weight loss. It turns out that cutting calories for weight loss is a misguided strategy that leads to the more unintended weight gain over time. Basically what they're saying, when you say, what is the plan? Give me the plan, please. Okay. You mean you're asking me, how do you lose weight? Is that, just clarify for me, Niranj. so that I know that I can direct this podcast in the right direction. But Sandy, does that make, Danette, what I'm saying to you is that after 38 years of research, not by me, but by the top weight loss researchers in the world, they cracked the code. Men and women with no exercise. Okay, so you're gone too. All right. Oh, yes, sir. Niranja. Okay. So, first of all, let me ask you a question, Niranja. Are you looking to lose weight, and what part of the world do you live in? Because it may or may not be available in whatever part of the world that you actually live in. So, can you just put in the chat where you live and if weight loss is what you're trying to do or what you would like to learn about? You can see there, are you tired of the diet merry-go-round? Get off it now. Hi, Barb. That's what we're talking about. Hi, Larry. We're talking about why diets absolutely do not work, and these new medical not trials, studies prove. Oh, you're in the USA. Oh, in Arizona. Wonderful. Okay. All right. So let me, for everybody, explain to you what they did and why this works. Okay. So the researchers who are the top weight loss researchers in the world, okay, they had done 38 years of research, over 100 studies on every diet you could name, thousands of people. And what they concluded was the fallacy of all diets is that all a diet is reducing the amount of food, no matter what the name is, whether it's paleo, keto, Mediterranean. You're just lowering the amount of food. What they never tell you is when you do that, you're also lowering the amount of nutrition. When the brain senses there's not enough nutrition to run all the organs, it immediately panics, goes into starvation mode, causes you to store fat, and immediately turns to your muscles for fuel. We have study after study after study proving that yes, you can lose weight on any diet, but it's always lean muscle mass, which slows your metabolism down. You come off the diet, that's why you gain everything back. Look, we have 80% of Americans overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. Can anybody put in the chat, do you really think that diets work? And then a big study here from Johns Hopkins Medical School says, study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. They're saying that 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese by 2030. Honestly, can anybody put in the chat, do you really think diets work? Because they don't. The evidence is all the way from Harvard Medical School. Here's another big study, why you shouldn't count calories. Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. So you're going on a diet, and the end result is you're going to end up weighing more than you did when you started the diet. Why are you going on the diet in the first place? Because someone told you to. You have this sort of false image in your mind that somehow it's going to work long term. The trend is going like this. We have more diets than ever. We're getting worse and worse and worse. So the researchers knew this. So what did they do? The theory was, could they lower the amount of food people consume, but not lower the amount of nutrition? It was a theory. Could they pull it off? Well, what they did is they divided your food, a month's worth of food for all the participants. 40% of the food they bought from the grocery store, you get a grocery list of those foods. The other five foods came from around the world, and the researchers don't sell you food. We don't sell you food. You buy directly from the sources who supplied these foods from the far reaches of the earth to the researchers. They come from Russia, China, Mongolia, Manchuria, Tibet, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand. Those five foods that they found have tremendous amounts of nutrition. So the theory was, could we put people on this protocol, lower the amount of food, but not lower the amount of nutrition? They thought they solved it. Then what they did is created two new ways for people to consume food. The first one's called protein pacing. What does it mean? It means 5 days a week, people had just these world's most perfect foods in the morning for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal. So they had 4 meals on these protein pacing days. And the last meal was from those 5 foods. Then 2 days out of 7, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not time restricted eating, nothing to do with that. On those days, no food from the grocery store and just these 5 foods, okay? Now, what were the results? Men and women lost as much weight in the first 4 days as in 4 weeks in a month of any diet they'd ever been on. They lost as much weight in 7 days as in 8 weeks of any diet. They lost as much weight in a month as people lost in a year. Now, before you get nervous and say it's unhealthy to lose that much weight on a diet, it would be. But because the thing on all diets that they want to guard against is the loss of lean muscle mass. Here, with no exercise allowed, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, lost no water. But that's the last reason to do this. They also lowered blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides. all in 30 days. And for the first time ever in history, they measured inflammation, which is the underlying cause of every disease known to man. They lowered it by 25% in 30 days. Hunger for the person went down 41% in a month. And in 8 weeks, people shrank their what's called the belly fat or the visceral fat by 33%. No one was allowed to exercise. I know it sounds good to be true. But you can go to the website. You can see it right there, the new health code. You can see the medical proof and interview with the #1 weight loss researcher in the world, who he and his team created this. And they don't sell anything. They don't have a company. They're just scientists. But what they did provide for all of us, the grocery list from the grocery store and these 5 foods, and then these new ways of consuming food. Look, I did this 21 years ago before I even, and it was an earlier version of this, not the one they have now. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. I've kept it off for 21 years. Can any of you match that on any diet you've ever been on? The sad part is, yes, you lose weight initially on all the diets. So you get kind of amped up and you think it's going to work. They don't work. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read a couple of big studies now. One in the New England Journal of Medicine, 12 months. One group of people lowered calories. One group of people did this new rage time-restricted eating where you don't eat for 16 hours, eat for 8. Here's what the results were. After 12 months, the people who lowered calories for a year lost on average 16 pounds in a year. The people who did intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, they only lost 12.6 pounds in a year. That's like a pound a month. And they said both those lowering calories and those doing time-restricted eating lost up to 40% of their lean muscle mass. I mean, I hope we're enlightening you. Our whole podcast, we're not into giving you opinions. If you want opinions, you don't need to be on this podcast. There's so many people on social media, but they're all telling you the same thing. Whether it's paleo or keto or Mediterranean, or they're a chiropractor or they're a medical doctor, dietitian, nutritionist, workout person, health coach, weight loss coach, they're all telling you the same thing. Only way to lose weight is to cut calories. Nonsense. Baloney. As a matter of fact, here's Harvard Medical School. Stop counting calories, they're saying. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories specifically, 3,500, and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this age-old strategy is actually totally misguided. The idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion, says Stanford. It's time to take a different approach by concentrating on what's in the food, not how much food we're consuming. Now, before you think you can rush down to your local store and buy organic and you eat healthy, no, you can't. Our food in this country is becoming nutritionally insufficient. Let me give you a couple examples, okay? Example number 1. First example is we're short what are called trace ionic minerals. There are 70 that we need. In the best organic, you get 20 out of 70. I don't care how much you eat, you're still getting 20. What about the other 50 that you need? Well, you're not getting them. It's that simple. The other thing that we're really short on is the absorption of amino acids. Now, I'm going to give you some dramatic examples. So basically, when you eat protein, you get there's 9 essential amino acids and 11 that are not essential, a total of 20, whether it's steak, chicken, liver, whatever, or a plant-based protein. But what they developed in Europe was a study or a test. When you ingest protein, they can tell you what percentage from 0 to 100 is being absorbed, because that's the only thing the body can use is what you absorb. It doesn't matter, right? When I tell you, this is going to shock you, that protein itself from a plant or an animal is a total toxin to our body. They're called nitrogen catabolites, okay? There are things like urea, creatine, ammonia, and glucose. So what's not converted into amino acids is turned into toxic waste that your kidneys have to get rid of. Now, this will make vegans mad. I'm just a scientist. I'm just giving you the numbers. Vegan proteins, the absorption of the amino acids is between 10 and 15% out of 100. All meat, steak, chicken, liver, fish, whatever, is 30%. The researchers found a protein source where the absorption was 91%. Let me put it in perspective. This protein source, okay, one serving of only 36 grams of protein yielded as much amino acids as 3 one-pound steaks. Again, what were the researchers trying to do? Could we reduce the quantity of the food people were consuming, but not lower the nutrition? Well, they surpass it. It'd be like today if you could go to a gas station and pump number one, it's $4 a gallon. The sign says you'll get 20 miles to the gallon on average. The next pump is $5 a gallon. They say, but you get 100 miles to the gallon. That was the concept that I know that's a silly example, but I want you to get the concept. It has nothing to do with the quantity. It only has to do with the quality. And unfortunately, sadly, our food in North America is becoming more, we're creating huge amounts of food, but the nutritional value is diving. So even if you think you're eating healthy, you're doing organic, you're doing whatever, macros, micros, nonsense, complete nonsense. Not that it's bad, but it's insufficient to maximize what? Your quality of life potential. I mean, I know you're going to get mad at me when I tell you this, but all of you, even though you think you're in good shape, you have no idea how bad you actually feel because you don't understand how good you could feel. Think about it. You need 70 trace ionic minerals and you're getting 20 and you think that's your max? You think you're at the top of the mountain? You're not. This is why diets can't possibly work. Because even when you're doing your best, you're in a deficiency. Now we're going to lower the amount of food we're giving you. So now exponentially, you're also lowering the amount of nutrition. You're making it worse. When the brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, it freaks out, goes in starvation mode, stops burning fat, turns to your muscles for fuel. This is a given on every one of these diets. I have another, where's this study? It's not, to me, not shocking, but it might be shocking to you. Let me find it here real quick. Yeah. While it was once thought that the more fat you had on your body, the less muscle you lost in a calorie deficit. This has since been totally disproven, with both lean and obese people losing significant rates of muscle when dieting. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what's going on. Are these influencers telling you that? They're making stories up. I'll give you another example. Here is, this is from the Journal of the American Medical Association, and this study was done on intermittent fasting, where you don't eat for 16 hours, eat your 8. Remember, I'm not giving you an opinion. I have no grudge with people that are telling you to do it, but let's look at the medical proof. Journal of the American Medical Association said, the new research found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast for 16 hours daily, eating all their meals between 8 p.m. and 12 and 8, gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of 3 months, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds. And most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. I've seen them. I've seen the influencers say, no, the only thing you lose on intermittent fasting is fat. Really? Where's your proof? Because I'm going with the Journal of the American Medical Association. I'm not going with some person online that's giving you this nonsense. Because it's nonsense and it doesn't, and I'm not saying you won't lose weight initially, but the key, see the program, the researchers called it R2M. It sounds strange, race to maintenance. Now you would think that's it. Okay, so I lost my 20 pounds. No, when you get to your goal, you're at the end of the beginning. The key to the whole program was to teach people how to continue their great success. These studies that I'm referencing, the 7 peer-reviewed human trial studies, they were started like 6 years ago. These people in the studies, they haven't gained back any of their weight. I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago. I kept it off for 21 years. I know it's hard to believe, and I know you're all skeptical because I do this 3 or 4 times a day. I see the comments, and I know we've had thousands of people, and a handful go to the website for free to see the medical proof. It's not Peter Greenlaw's opinion. I don't want you to believe me. Like if you go to that site, there's nothing to buy there. There are no books. There's no celebrity endorsements. It's just the medical proof and an interview with the #1 weight loss nutritionist and physiologist in the whole world. He says they'll never recommend any of these traditional diets that you're all on, you're going on, you've been on it. Never. They won't. They said it would be completely unethical for them to put patients on a system where it would take them 8 weeks to lose unhealthy weight. See, your diets, they're not doing something for you. Well, I guess you're going to fit in your skinny jeans. They're doing something to you. Because when you go on a diet and you lower that level of nutrition and you trigger starvation mode, when you start to use your muscles for fuel, it's not just that it slows down your metabolism, it also slows down your immune system. Did any of you know that? Are any of these influencers telling you that? One of the most unhealthy things you could ever do to yourself is to lower calories to lose weight. Totally nuts. Just crazy. And yet people are buying into this. Because that's what everybody's saying. All they're doing is changing the name on the door. It's paleo, it's keto, it's Mediterranean, it's Atkins, it's lose weight for your blood type, it's the zone diet, it's Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Noom, Zoom, Boom, the South Beach diet, the North. I'm making that up, of course. I mean the North. I don't. Maybe there is a North Beach diet. I know about the South Beach diet. And they have now. What's happening is we have 80% of America overweight and 50% are obese. In 2008, the number was about 60%. And then John Hopkins just came out and said, obesity apocalypse by 2030, they're estimating 86% of you will be overweight or obese in 5.5 years. Does that sound like something that works? 50% of Americans are pre-diabetic. 33% of kids are pre-diabetic. About 74% of all men and women military age that try to get into the service are being rejected because of being overweight and obese. This is becoming a national. I mean, we could pretend we can the nice people and they write on the whiteboards and they got fancy titles and all. They don't have any proof. You're being miffed. You are. I always tell people when you come onto this podcast, all diets are completely obsolete. Now, you need to do a little bit of your own legwork and go to the website and see the medical proof. And if you go there, we're not calling you. We're not going to contact you. We don't need to do that. And if you go there and you see and you like what you see, scroll down. It says sign up for free personal consultation. It's free with one of our coaches. This is not somebody an 800 number that's checking, oh, here are the recipes to lose weight. Nonsense. That's all nonsense. And the reason we do it is we don't know anything about you. We have people who want to gain weight. We have a kid as young as 2. We have people in the 90s. We have a guy with a heart transplant. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical proclamations. Let's get that out of the way. That's not what we're doing. But don't you owe it to yourself? Even if you're skeptical and you think, I'm crazy, maybe I'm not crazy. Because here's the key. When you have peer-reviewed human trial studies, they're irrefutable. They've already been researched. They've already been scrutinized by the top medical doctors and researchers in the world. By the way, most people don't know this. When you do a peer-reviewed human trial study and you submit your study to something like, in this case, so what is it people should be doing, Lori? I'll do that for you in 1 second, I promise. So, Lori, basically what they did, these researchers. So, Lori, listen to me. 38 years, 100 studies, thousands of people on every diet out there. And what they concluded was the problem with diets was they completely ignored nutrition. And the problem is we have a minimum amount of nutrition that the body needs to run all the organs. And the brain, when you go on a diet and lower the quantity of your food, Lori, you're also lowering the amount of nutrition, okay? So what the researchers set out to do, could they lower the amount of food you'd consume, but not lower the amount of nutrition? So this is what they did. They made a grocery list that you would get. So take the amount of food you buy in a month, 30 to 40% you'd buy from the grocery store. That's it, no more. The other 60% came from 5 foods that by the way, the researchers don't sell food. They don't have a company. They're scientists, right? But they found other researchers who found these 5 food groups from Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Tibet, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand that represented massive amounts of nutrition, Lori. So they have the ingredients now. 40% from the grocery store, 60% from these 5 foods from around the world. Okay, now the next thing they had to do was create a brand new way of consuming the food. So 5 days a week, Lori, they did something called protein pacing. When in the morning, people had these 5 foods. That was breakfast, no other food. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store. And Lori, then they had to have a 4th meal after dinner, another meal of these 5 foods from around the world. So that was 5 days a week. 2 days a week, they did something called intermittent, notice, nutritional fasting, not time restricted eating. On those 2 days, no food from the grocery store, just these massively dense foods on those intermittent nutritional fasting days. Lori, like I said, I mean, how excited would you be if you could lose a whole dress size in 7 days with no exercise? Guys lose 2, 4, up to 6 inches off their waist in a week. And so in 7 days, typically, Lori, you're going to lose as much weight as in 8 weeks of any diet. You'll lose as much weight in a month as a year in any diet, no loss of water, and you'll gain 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise at all. I know it sounds like science fiction. That's why we give you the opportunity to go to the New Health Conversation, the free website, where we won't harass you, we won't call you, we won't contact you. The only way we'll contact you, Lori, is if you contact us. Does that make sense, or do you need further explanation? So basically what it was, this was based on massive amounts of nutrition, but less quantity, okay? And the body responds what? To the nutrition. It doesn't care about how much. It only cares about the density of the nutrition that we're able to. Now, and people tell me all the time, well, I eat healthy, I do whole foods. Great. Our food is nutritionally insufficient in this country. It just is. And then all of us also, Lori, this is the other thing we need to guard against, the TDOS syndrome. The T is for toxicity, D is for deficiency, O for being over, and S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office of new medical conditions that I have, you have, every person in the world. We're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals, whether you know it or not. And your body and my body is taking that chemical and stuffing it in our fat cells. That's why people complain to me all the time. It's not just the amount of weight they have, but the amount of fat that they have in their body. And we've proven on all these studies, I read that one, well, it's once thought that the more fat you had, the less muscle you lost in a calorie deficit. This has totally been disproven with both lean and obese people losing significant rates of muscle when dieting. Lori, I'm not making up anything. This is what happens. Your diet, it's not doing something for you, it's doing something to you. But you can imagine how excited people get once they get over the shock that is this real? Did my scale break? I know I thought it sounds preposterous that you can lose as much weight safely in a week as in 8 weeks of dieting. Why would you go on a diet where it's proven the only thing you're going to lose is lean muscle and you're going to gain everything back? Like that one study said, where is it here? Where they talked about that, and they said that while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. The famous yo-yo, but there's a scientific reason for that. It's not your fault, any of you. If you're overweight and you're struggling and you can't lose weight, look, before anybody accuses me of like fat shaming, slow down in your rolls. I'm not saying you are. My mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy. And I became a researcher because of a phone call 23 years ago from my mom to me. And she said, Peter, I have one wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything if I could just spend a day thin. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mom did about every diet that there was out there, from Jenny Craig to Weight Watchers to paleo to keto to zone diet, Oprah's diets, Optifast, I mean, you name it. She'd cut diets out of the national court. She did the grapefruit diet. She did the cabbage diet. I mean, all of you can do whatever you want to do, okay? Diets don't work. My first book was a huge bestseller back in 2010. We've had 2 or 3 updates. You can't buy my books on the website. They're not there. So don't think I'm going to trick you and, well, you want to find out what they did? You got to buy my book. We don't work like that. We don't have to work like that. I just wish that, obviously it's impossible to have, know 23 years ago what I know now. If my mom could have lost as much weight in a week as in 8 weeks of any diet, I think there would have been a chance. I mean, I can't prove it, of course, but I really think she could have lived longer because, again, obviously weight is a major factor also in so many medical challenges like high blood pressure, which she had, or high cholesterol. I mean, she had it all, obviously. So I went through fat shaming. I saw the kids whispering and pointing at my mom. Even when I was a little kid, it was obvious to me. I miss her a lot, but it's also a huge motivator for me to at least share this knowledge with all of you. If I can help one of you, one person, it's worth it. I've been doing this for 22 years. And I'm not telling you, I don't want to impress you. That's not why I'm telling you this, but I want you to understand. I spent 22 years of my life being a nutritional researcher, working with some of the top medical doctors, molecular biologists, geneticists, nutraceutical chemists, and researchers in the entire world. See, I'm the researcher of the researchers. I'm not the expert. They're the experts, but I'm bringing their knowledge to you for free. What you do with it, that's your decision to make. That's not ours. That's why if you go to the website, and even if you sign up for a free consultation with one of our coaches, they're not there to sell you or convince you. We don't have to do that because we have the medical proof on our side. You understand, these are the only studies ever done on an original new weight loss protocol. The studies I'm citing over here, they weren't done by paleo or keto or Mediterranean. They were done by the medical journals because the doctors are frustrated. They don't know what to do. This thing, like I said, Johns Hopkins Medical School, right here. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030 in 5.5 years. What do you think we're going to do when 86% of Americans are overweight? Right now, we have 50% of Americans pre-diabetic. We're running out of insulin. So what do we keep doing? We keep listening. It's a new diet. And boy, that season is coming soon. We all know in December, oh, New Year's resolutions, I'm going to lose weight. Oh, what's the new diet this year? Oh, it's intermittent fasting. Really? Doesn't work long term, but the influencers that are showing you pretty pictures and they're going to give you, I think you can buy up to 1,000 recipes from them. That doesn't do anything. Not long term. Now listen, the other thing you need to know about time restricted eating is that they've now said, here's another study, Annals of Internal Medicine, 12-month study on intermittent fasting. After 12 months, the weight loss was 10 pounds in a year. A year. I guess they're better salesmen than me. Then that must be. I'm not selling you anything. I had somebody accuse me, oh, well, does anyone think this is an infomercial? I'm going to show you the website right now. You show me what you can buy on the website. For some reason, it won't click over. I'm sorry. I'm not making this up. But if you go there, it's totally free. Nobody's going to contact you. There's nothing to buy there. It's just the medical proof. And when you scroll down, then you can, or not. See, here's the thing. We don't force you to set up a free consultation to see what it is. We're totally transparent. It's all there for you. It's difficult for me to do it justice on a TikTok because part of the thing is there are before and after pictures that if I showed those to you, I'd be banned. Because TikTok doesn't want you to do before and afters. And I love TikTok, and they're wonderful to work with, and they've been amazing, So you can see it there. You can see it right up there above my head. The New Health Conversation. It's totally free. So, Lori, did that answer your question? I'm not even sure if you're still on anymore, but I probably, knowing me, I probably scared her away. But who else would like to ask me a question? Barb or Nitty Gritty? This is for real, everyone. This is real. There's nothing made up about anything I'm talking about. I mean, really? Really, you think diets work? They don't. They just don't work long term. You're just going to frustrate yourself. Maybe you've already done it. Maybe you've already yo-yoed. Maybe you've gained and lost and gained it. Oh, the other part, I didn't even tell because some people jumped off. So those 5 foods from these fulfillment companies that come from around the world. Now, let me be clear. You don't buy any food from the researchers. You don't buy any food from us. Obviously, you get a grocery list. You go to your local grocery store and buy 30 to 40% of your food for the month. Then the other 5 foods that come from these fulfillment companies who for 25 years have searched the world for these nutritionally dense foods, you know what they do? They give you 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days. If for any reason it doesn't work, you didn't like the taste, doesn't matter. Absolutely, these 5 foods actually taste really, really good. That's not an issue. I mean, I know the skepticism has to come, it sounds too good to be true. I know it. I just know it. I wish there was some other way. But I have to, don't you want me to present the medical proof to you? As outlandish as it may seem, but you have to understand, this has already been reviewed by the top medical doctors and nutritional researchers in the world who actually have only one job, believe it or not, to discredit what you're trying to, not me, but the researchers prove. That's why you won't see any of these diet companies doing a peer-reviewed study on their own human trial. They'll talk about, well, we have a scientific paper. That's great. What the hell does that mean? Doesn't mean anything. Oh, we have a clinical study. Yeah, probably on rice. Look, if anything these people had, they're talking about, if it was that good, they'd want to have a peer-reviewed human trial study, and they wouldn't be afraid to put it up for scrutiny. But again, would you get excited like they did in this Journal of the American Medical Association, where they said that people doing it for 3 months gained almost no benefit. They only lost 2 to 3 pounds over 3 months, and the most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's not your fault. You have the wrong protocol, the wrong approach. And you don't have to listen to me. You can do whatever you want to do, but it's not going to work. Because how in the world could we justify that diets work if when 5.5, what do we, I mean, in 2008, it was about 60% were overweight and obese. We're talking 22 years later, it's going to be 86%. That's like a 45% increase. I mean, who comes up with this stuff? I mean, we really, really want to help you, but we can't help you if you're unwilling to help yourself. How hard is it? Go to Google, type in the new health conversation, look at the medical proof or not. But I would say this to challenge, who else is offering you this kind of proof? Who would it be? Please tell me. I go on social media every day looking, seeing, and all I see is the same rhetoric with really credentialed people sometimes, with all kinds of fancy titles, making proclamations. I know of one woman. She spent, I think, since January, just to give you a perspective, between January and September, she lost a total of 16 pounds, most of which she lost in the first 2 months. And she spent, I think, $14,000 with these people. She went on this protocol. She lost 16 pounds in less than 2 weeks. I mean, it's just crazy. It's literally at your finger. Remember the old let your fingers do the walking? Well, now it's let your keyboard do the walking. I don't know what else to say. Sometimes I get just like overwhelmed thinking, what else, what could I do better? Not to convince you and not to sell you, but invite you to investigate for yourself. Aren't you worth it? Aren't you worth taking a little bit of time to see? If this is half of what I was saying, should blow your way. But you have to understand that when you have peer-reviewed studies, they're irrefutable, meaning they're in the public domain. I mean, you can't edit them. It's not like I went and changed the numbers. The numbers were validated by these world-class doctors and researchers. That's what the whole point behind it. That's why no drug ever gets approved without what? A peer-reviewed human trial study. So why should you be putting stuff in your body that has no peer-reviewed human trial studies behind it? Especially when it comes to something as sensitive as your weight and your blood pressure and your blood sugar and your cholesterol, triglycerides. What about inflammation? It plagues all of us. It's the underlying cause of every disease. In 30 days, it came down 25%. No diet's ever produced anything even resembling these results because they're diets. Their main focus is what? To lose weight. We tell you over and over, don't even do this to lose weight. That's like a bonus. That's a throw in. We kind of go, okay, I know you get really excited. We have to warn you when you stand on the scale on, let's say, the 6th or 7th day, you'll think your scale's broken. In 22 years, we figure we've helped about 700,000 people. They've lost collectively somewhere around 14 million pounds, maybe more than that. That's a low estimate. Because people on this lose weight so dramatically. But the other thing you need to understand is the number of people that have stuck with it, whatever weight they lost. Like in my case, I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago. I've kept it off for 21 years. Wouldn't that excite you? What the heck's the point of going on a diet and getting anything back and then you're looking for a new diet because you thought it was you? You failed. You didn't fail anything. The protocol's failing you. The approach is failing you. And now we got, study after study. I mean, when Harvard Medical School is saying, I've got it right here somewhere. Hold on, just bear with me. When they're saying, stop counting calories, this is Harvard Medical School. It's not Peter Greenlaw. And they say most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. I hear them saying it on social media. Yeah, losing weight is just a math equation. No, it's not. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Harvard goes on to say, cut calories, specifically 3,500, and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decade-old strategy is totally misguided. They go on to say the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not just antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion, Stanford says. It's time to take a different approach by emphasizing what's in the food, not how much food we're consuming. Here's another one. Don't bother counting calories. It's complete nonsense. Inevitably, they use the word inevitably here. They say inevitably. More than 95% of people will go back to their baseline and many will go above it. They rebound back if they're doing any form of calorie reducing diet. I mean, it's just one. Here's another one. This one's titled "Why Losing Weight Isn't About Cutting Calories." Another study going amid fad diets, calorie restrictions is a popular approach to weight loss. It turns out that cutting calories for weight loss is a misguided strategy that leads to the more unintended weight gain over time. You're going on a diet to gain weight? Really? Did you know that? Did anyone tell you that? And you wonder why we're going to have 86% of America overweight in 5.5 years? And I mean, this is a disaster. I said before, 74% of military age men and women are rejected now because of their weight or obesity. My God, now it's a national. I mean, when are we going to wake up and go, you know what? We're on the Titanic. Was that an iceberg we just hit? You know, that sad part about that story is there were a number of people that actually stayed on deck because they didn't think it was going to sink. Some of the lifeboats they launched, two things that happened on that are pretty amazing. If you watch the movie, number one, they only launched the lifeboats from one side of the boat. It's pretty crazy. But also some of the lifeboats went out, every seat wasn't filled. Because people stood on deck listening to it wasn't supposed to sink, but it did. I mean, diets, obviously, they're supposed to work, but they don't. My best-selling, why diets are failing? We got a lot of pushback. This was, 14 years ago when it came out. It's been a couple of edited, editions now. Because what did they say? He's wrong. The only way to lose weight is to lower the amount of calories. Really? Well, I'm sure glad that all these other people are agreeing with me now that have, I don't know anybody at Harvard Medical School. I don't know anybody that ran these studies. Again, I will ask you, aren't you worth it? I mean, there's no and even the shots, which I'm not against. Let's talk about the shots for just a moment because so many people are doing the GLP-1s now, semaglutide. Okay, I'm going to read to you, and I'm not opposed to the shots. Hear me clearly. They're helping diabetics and they're helping people that are really obese. But let's look at the medical proof. New England Journal of Medicine, 68-week study on semaglutide, a year and 4 months. The total weight loss for the men and women was an average of 32 pounds in 68 weeks. And right in the study, it said, of the 32 pounds they lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. I'm working with people right now on GLP-1s, and the one thing they want to guard against is lean muscle mass. But talk to someone who's stopped taking the shot. They're gaining all their weight back like 5 times faster than they lost it. Because at the end of the day, what is it? It's lowering the amount of food you're consuming. Are they telling you that you're lowering the amount of nutrition? I mean, it triggers starvation mode. That's why they're losing all their muscle mass. But it's true. I'm not picking on the shots. Any diet. I mean, it's better. It's good that those people lost 32 pounds, but it's not good that they lost 40% was lean muscle mass. That's why these studies are so significant. They lost 16 pounds in a month and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle and lost no water. Doesn't that sound more interesting? I mean, are you a little bit curious? I just hope that, wow, somebody's commenting. Wow, that's amazing. 10 pounds in 1 week on this protocol. Okay, well, they did, but there's my point. In 7 days, they lost 10 pounds. How long would that take any of you on a diet? Do you see the point? You see the ludicrousy of these diets? So Tony or Barb or any of the other people, sorry, I'm not seeing a plan here anytime soon. Goodbye. Have a good day. What kind of plan did you want, Nigel? I just went over the whole plan with you. So it's okay. It's fine. No, that's total. Soy protein, you should never put. This guy's telling me soy protein is one of the highest absorption rates among plant proteins with a bioavailability of 90%. Nonsense, totally made up. You don't have one shred of evidence. You don't even understand what net nitrogen utilization is. So that's total. See, this is the misinformation that's out there. A plant-based protein, I don't give a damn what it is. It's 10 to 15% absorption. It was proven in Europe in blood, stool, and urine tests. These are opinions that people just give me and just gives me, it's just total, complete and utter nonsense. It's just total nonsense. What a bunch of nonsense. Plant-based diets don't work. I'm sorry. This totally, I mean, this is what's going on. This is what we're fighting. We're fighting all this misinformation, and they keep coming on and giving me this stuff. It gets me really, you can tell it gets me excited and upset. It doesn't work, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that matters is the science, and the science it has no anything, okay? I mean, it has no agenda. But with all due respect, whatever you're saying here, I'm sorry, you have no one shred of medical evidence. The bioavailability, no person should ever put soy in their body, my friend who put that comment up there. Read the research on soy. That's the last thing anybody should ever be putting in their body. They did a big study in, not the Philippines, but Guam, and they eat primarily a plant-based diet. They had terrible lean muscle mass development because they eat almost no meats at all. Not that I'm a proponent of the meats either, but I'm saying that plant he's talking about at best was 10 to 15% absorption. 90. See, they make this stuff up. That's what I'm fighting against. They're all, it's like there's a mass of them, all giving you misinformation. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't get so upset or excited. But Barb and T Boom, do you have any questions for me? Because I'm gonna probably go maybe another 5 minutes because this is my third one of the day. My voice is really starting to go here. So, Lori, what is the people? Oh, that was a while ago. Would anybody else like to ask me a question? Because again, I'm live. This is your chance to pick on me, fight with me. No, I'm kidding. Argue with me. Look, I don't know why people want to argue with me. These are the only and the first peer-reviewed human trial studies that have ever been done on, for weight loss. 7 of them in the biggest medical journals in the world. See, when people come on and they make comments, there's no clinical evidence behind any of the stuff that they're claiming. So, anyhow, wow. JD weight loss, that sounds really interesting. Your friend lost 10 pounds in 1 week. I'm just curious, JD, how does he feel and how's he doing now or her? I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but I'm always curious when I see these comments, But Barb or Philippe, is it Philippe? I don't want to mispronounce your name. But any questions, Barb or Philippe? But again, what I want to invite both of you to do, or anybody that's watching this, even on the rebroadcast, go to the New Health Conversation. You see it there. It's also down. I'll put it in the comments at the very bottom. Hold on just a second. He's loving it. Feels incredible. Started 8 days ago. Wow. Oh my gosh. Did everybody see that comment from this person? His friend lost 10 pounds in 1 week on this protocol. Now, I know you think, like, I set this up. I didn't. I have no idea it was going to come on. We get people all the time coming on and sharing their results, but they're mind-boggling. They are. Why would you want to take, again, Barb or Philippe, why would you want to go on a diet that would take you 8 weeks to lose weight in the most unhealthy way when in the studies they did it in 7 days? Or why would you want to take a year to lose what you could lose basically in 30 days safely? I don't know. It's just me. I'm just a researcher. I just give you the facts. No opinions. Because why would you rely on opinions? Because that's all we've had to go on. And I'll be honest, for 20 of my years, despite writing 4 best-selling books, 20 shows on PBS, I did 1,500 lectures all over the world live. They even flew me to China. I was interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America, in New York and Washington and Chicago and San Francisco and Los Angeles. I guess it was more than 4. You think they do that if you don't have something legitimate? So the main thing we want to do is we want to make you aware of what's available. But we're not going to convince you. We're not going to twist your arm. We're not going to try and sell you. That's way too tiring. We got too many people that absolutely positively want to, change their lives. So our Barb or Philippe, do any of you have any last questions for me before I close this session out? Oh, Tim just joined us. Tim, sorry, my friend, we're about ready to close this down, but the good news is you can see the website there, the New Health Conversation. All the medical proof is there for you to see. Tim, Men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet you've ever been on with no exercise. They lost as much weight in a month as a year on any diet, no loss of water, and they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. I know it sounds like science fiction, but it's totally real. So again, I would encourage you to go there if you want. And if you do, you can sign up for a free personal consultation. No tricks, no gimmicks. We're not there to sell you or convince you, okay? So you can go there and see for yourself at the New Health Conversation. Jeannie Wilson, 585. Hello and welcome. Jeannie, sorry, we're just about ready to wrap this podcast up, but the good news, you can see it right there, the New Health Conversation. Oh, Tim, you will. Great. Yeah, Tim, and also Jeannie, understand something. I'm sorry you're coming in at the end, but don't despair. You see there the New Health Conversation. That, and Debbie, that's a medical research site where we have all the evidence about how, Debbie, you could lose a whole dress size in 7 days, lose as much weight in a week as 8 weeks of any diet. Same thing, Daniel. Any of you that want to really see the medical proof, go to the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website. There's nothing to buy there. It's just the medical proof. You can scroll down. If you like what you see, you can actually sign up for a free personal consultation with one of our coaches. It's completely free, and they'll go over everything with you. Also, you need to know that the majority of this actually comes with a 100% money back guarantee. I don't sell it to you. The researchers who did the medical studies that you see, they don't sell anything. You're buying directly from the people that supplied about 60 or 70% of the food to the studies, and they offer you a 100% money back guarantee. Is there anybody else on social media doing that? And we all know that that's not true. So anyway, Barb, thank you so much for hanging in there. I hope, Barb, you will, along with Tim and everybody else, I hope you will go to the website and see the medical proof. And if you like what you see, then you can sign up for a free personal consultation. Does that sound pretty fair to everybody? So let's see. That's about all. That's about all I wanted to cover. So have a great. I'm always challenged by this because this thing goes all over the world, and I got people. It's the morning, it's the night, it's still middle of the afternoon in Hawaii, and people. Toronto Discoveries. That's an unusual name. So Toronto. Okay, well, whatever. But for the rest of you, have a wonderful rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, tomorrow, whatever it might be. Okay. Thanks, everybody.